My name is Richard. There were 5 of us, me, Liam, Mark, Noah, and Samuel. It was the start of winter. Temperatures were dropping. We made the last-minute decision to go camping before it got too cold. Liam decided where we would be staying. An area deep in the forest, completely secluded from civilization, nearest town being an 1.5-hour drive. I should have listened to all those stories we knew so well. The stories about the creature called 𝒕𝒓𝒆. It was supposedly lurked in those woods. Maybe if I had said something, it would have gone differently. The drive over was normal. We all chatted away, and everything was fine until we arrived. We started our short hike to the spot, roughly a 45-minute to where we were setting up camp. From the moment we pulled over, something just felt off. We brought 2 tents, one for me, Liam, and Noah, the other for Mark and Sam. We had all the gear and food we needed for 2 nights. Liam decided to bring his pistol, for some reason. About 30 minutes into the walk, there we noticed something odd. 4 deer lay dead within 20 meters of each other, but the injuries they had sustained matched nothing of any animal we knew of, damaging only fatal points. Although we thought it was odd, we ignored the signs and continued the walk. After all, we had already made it this far. Why turn back now? But it only got worse. We finally arrived, immediately starting to set up our tents. But at this point it was around 3:30 p.m. The area where we were setting up was a clearing, about the size of a small backyard. The only growth inside it were low plants and a few stunted trees, no higher than my shoulder, fairly wide and unobstructed, almost as if the forest had stepped back for a purpose. We spent the rest of the afternoon talking, playing cards, and setting up a campfire. The events that had taken place with the dead deer faded from our thoughts, until that uncomfortable silence hit. It felt as though all the animals and insects just disappeared. We saw some deer leaving the area, almost as if they were fleeing from something. Everyone noticed, but no one spoke up about it. We just kept acting like everything was normal. At some point, early in the evening, around 5:30 p.m., it started to get darker. We decided it was time to have dinner. After eating, we played some more card games until around 8 p.m., when we decided it was time to roast marshmallows over the campfire. At some point, while we were enjoying the roasted marshmallows, I heard footsteps. They sounded almost human, but like whoever or whatever it was trying to be silent. I thought it was odd because I didn't hear a single leaf crackle or a twig snap despite the forest floor being covered in such things. I called this out, but Liam told me it was probably just an animal walking nearby. I pointed my flashlight around, but saw nothing. At around 10:30 p.m., we decided it was time to go to sleep. Mark stood up and wanted to walk towards the edge of the clearing. He called out that he would need to take a leak and would be right back. We thought nothing of it, and quickly everyone fell asleep. At around 12 a.m., Sam woke up and realized Mark still hadn't returned, so he alerted us. He was freaked out because it doesn't take 1 hour and 40 minutes to take a leak. We began searching, hoping that maybe he was just playing some form of a prank or something, but after 15 minutes of searching and calling his name, he still didn't show up. Then something caught my eye. Something moving fast, faster than should be possible, at around 40 meters away. Whatever it was going as fast as a car. I yelled and pointed my flashlight at it, but I couldn't see anything. Liam got freaked out and grabbed his pistol. We quickly realized we had to get out of there. Another 5 minutes later, but still no sign of Mark. Liam walked towards the edge of the clearing and pointed his flashlight around, and he illuminated that creature, and it instantly reacted. It was the most horrific thing I have ever seen. Liam's face was almost completely destroyed, and his chest was torn open. His body dropped instantly. I ran for cover and heard Sam screaming, and then there was a loud, wet snap. He stopped screaming. I saw Noah crouched down behind a tree. He was hyperventilating, but trying to stay quiet. We locked eyes for a second. I turned to look at the creature. It had light gray skin, stood at least 8 feet tall, with limbs too long and too thin to be human. It just stood there, not making a sound. I think it was listening for us. A few seconds after, it let out a guttural screech before dashing towards Noah. I watched as it picked him up and ripped his throat out before dropping him to the ground. I stayed perfectly still, trying to breathe as quiet as I could for what felt like hours before it eventually moved away. I waited a few minutes before crawling in the opposite direction. It wasn't long until I found Mark. His head had been crushed. I continued, searching for Liam so that I could take his pistol. While searching, I found Sam. His left leg had been ripped off, and his chest had caved in. Finally, I found Liam. I picked up his pistol and walked to the camp, grabbing his car keys and running towards the road. I knew that even while running, it would take a while to get back to the car. I looked back. Wish I hadn't. And that thing was running straight at me. Without thinking, I aimed the pistol and fired. By some miracle, it hit directly in the chest, but didn't penetrate. I think it had some form of natural armor. Its jaw opened wide. So wide that if it were human, it would have just dislocated. It let out an awful scream. I realized that it hadn't caught up yet because it was playing with its food. I was its food. I ran until my legs burned and my body was yelling at me to stop. I tripped on a root and face planted into the mud. I quickly turned around. I aimed the gun at the creature right as it got within meters of me. I aimed for its face and fired. It screeched and grabbed its face. The bullet didn't penetrate it, but seemed to distract it. I sprinted for what felt like hours, without any sign of it. Finally reaching the car, I unlocked it, jumped in. I don't remember starting the car. I only remember being 20 meters down the road, holding down the accelerator. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw it standing there, staring at the car before turning around and running back, so fast it seemed to just be there one moment and gone the next. As soon as I got some signal on my phone, I called the police. I didn't tell them what attacked us, I just told them where we had been attacked, and that all my friends were dead. The bodies were discovered. Apparently something had eaten, which made the bodies harder to identify. Sam's full remains were never discovered. However, they found his left leg lying near the camp. I was taken for questioning where I told them everything. They tried to convince me that it was most likely just a bear attack, and that I had been through lots of trauma. I could tell just by their faces that even they didn't believe it was a bear attack. I know what I saw, and I know it wasn't a bear.